Philadelphia's first prime-time news hour, the Fox 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rich Noonan.
And I'm Jill Chernikoff. Here's what's happening tonight. It is a mess out there. Tonight's thunderstorms, damaging winds, and flooding have caused a host of problems in the greater Philadelphia region. 51,000 customers are without power tonight in Bucks and Montgomery counties. There is a report of one death tonight in Yardley, Bucks County, but the cause has not yet been confirmed. Creeks and rivers are continuing to rise tonight, and many roads are not passable due to the serious flooding. And in Langhorne, a Gold's Gym has collapsed in the Langhorne Shopping Center. We, of course, have reporters and crews on the scene, but because of the lightning and thunder tonight, it's interfering with our live transmission. As soon as we can get you those live pictures and that live update, we will. In the meantime, in Bucks County, in Ben Salem at this hour, there is word of possible evacuations along the Neshaminy Creek. The water there is rising at an alarming rate. Frank is with us now with more on weather-related information. Frank, what do you have?
Jill and Rich, here's how things are stacking up. Bucks and Montgomery counties definitely have gotten the brunt of the heavy rain and heavy storms tonight. As a matter of fact, rain was falling at 4 inches in 3 hours. That's a pretty big rate. That's more rain in 3 hours than we normally see in a month. Take a look at Center City earlier this evening, right before dusk, and you can see roadways just covered with water, rain falling at a good clip, visibilities down near zero with the rainfall. And that's how things are tonight. Very bad driving out there. Let's take a look at radar. Here's how things are stacking up. As we take a look at radar right now, you'll notice a very strong line of storms down to our south and our west. If we can take a look at radar right now, I know it's on its way. A line of storms about right here, moving up from the southeast over Philadelphia. Look at the red. Intense thunderstorms, and they're continuing to move through New Jersey right now. Live Doppler radar is picking up still some pretty heavy storms, central New Jersey, going down to around Kent County and Delaware. The good news, these storms will be out of here in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The bad news, it looks like we're going to have a repeat performance tomorrow with the severe weather. Now, we have some notes in from Bucks County emergency management officials. They're asking people in Middletown, Langhorne, Yardley, and Falls Township to stay off the roadways altogether. The roadways are impassable. Also, if you have friends and family at Oxford Valley Mall, don't expect them home anytime soon. Management officials have asked the mall to stay open because they do not want the patrons to drive home. It's that bad out there, folks. And also, if you are in Bucks County, they're asking, please do not use 911 unless it is a true emergency. The calls are coming in very rapidly, and they do want to handle only the emergencies at this time. As you can tell, flooding is a major problem tonight. Stay off the roadways. That's all we can say.
All right. Thanks a lot, Frank. Of course, we will keep tracking this system for you as the story develops, and we will have live reports later on in the broadcast. A hit-and-run accident has left 2 infants hospitalized.
For you in Baltimore and Washington for the first time in a couple of days. Period. And there are reports of hail here too. Well, finally, the heavy rain is moving off. It'll be a muggy night, but at least the heavy rain will be over in the Delaware Valley. Now the showers are moving in toward Atlantic City and Vineland, down toward Bridgeton and Dover, Delaware. Raining in New York City here too. Tell you, the responsible party, that area of low pressure. That'll be heading up the St. Lawrence Seaway. Get on out of here. Now, there's still going to be some showers and thunder showers here again, and there will be more reports of severe weather and more flooding. I'll tell you, out ahead of this front, the air is just very, very juicy, very, very moist, and with afternoon heating, there will be the thunderstorms. You got some right now around Augusta, Georgia, and down into Florida. We've had some pretty heavy rain. St. Augustine with a couple of inches in the last 24 hours along Florida's first coast. Back along the front range of the Rockies, there will be more severe weather here, too. So, you'll need the umbrella in many places. There'll be hit or miss thunderstorms, and in some cases, hit and hit. It's like a right jab and then a left uppercut. And we had about 3 of those in the Delaware Valley. Very, very rough stuff. In the west, things look great. From the crest of the Rockies westward, I tell you what, you want beautiful weather. You want sunshine, except for right along the coast and in the LA Basin. Sunshine, mild, boy, Seattle, Portland, Boise, where else do we go? Salt Lake City, Reno, Las Vegas, a little geschwitzt there in the southwest with high temperatures over 110 degrees. Geschwitzt meaning sweaty. But with this kind of heat, I'll tell you, we wouldn't be painting oranges and yellows in here unless there were rocky mountains because, well, that's why it is relatively cooler here. But there's a nice big ridge of high pressure. We'd be painting the 90s, 100s, all over there if it wasn't for the elevation. Cool, relatively cool from the Midwest off to New York City and Washington, D.C. through the weekend. And that pretty much is the pattern that you're going to be sitting in for the next several days and maybe the next several months. We're in this kind of ridge and trough pattern here. Our area of low pressure moves off. The cold front that's kicking it out heads eastward, and with any kind of luck at all, this weekend promises to be perfect for you. Playing tennis, cutting the lawn, doing a little gardening, playing with the kids out there in the backyard. It should be nice. A little bubble of high pressure here from the Great Lakes states all the way over to Hartford, New Haven, Williamstown, and Brattleboro. Cold front to the south, low pressure developing perhaps off the east coast. That could keep the showers in right along the Gulf Coast and in Florida. Gosh, do we need more rain in Florida?
At this road, now a river, firemen trying to reach a woman who suffered a stroke. Her daughter stands by helplessly.
I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. Pray.
Firemen had to find a boat to go around. Still no word on the victim.
Right along here is what collapsed.
This building, Gold's Gym, the roof collapsed. A possible explosion. People trapped.
Everybody was really panicking, just trying to get out of the way for the firemen because there was apparently a fire in the boiler room.
No injuries, but a lot of damage. Trees blown down, but the road's a real problem. Cars stranded, the high water mark at the windows, people pushing to high ground.
All over Bucks County, actually in Lower Makefield, where the roads are completely blocked, covered with water, complete trees down, most of the power out.
The Langhorne Mall, no electricity, no customers, people waiting out of the stores. A flood here too, more damage. People trying to mop up to keep ahead of the water.
Tiring, scary, but it happened this close to home.
Heavy rain, 4 hours and counting, everywhere. People stranded, no electricity, no gas, nowhere to go.
Water, engines going, all the restaurants and everything are closed. We need gas. There's no gas available. Just total chaos. Trying to get home and can't get there. It's my mom's birthday. We're missing everything.
And I can tell you that the weather has begun to break now. We haven't seen any lightning in about 4 or 5 minutes. It has stopped raining. There is a great sense of relief here. I'm live in Bucks County. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jan, thank you. And many parts of Bucks County were devastated by this storm. We will go to another live shot after this break around the Oxford Valley Mall area, which was also very hard hit.
And tonight at the Vet, the Phillies try to end their losing streak.
On Kansas City, another one northeast of Dallas, and then the action again from the southern Rockies out into the high plains. Well, let's get into this one step at a time. Starting out in the northeast, where life has been very difficult for residents just north of Philadelphia. For one place, up in Bucks County and over into Monmouth County, New Jersey. Well, how about 2 inches of rain in less than an hour? Numerous roads are reported out in eastern Bucks County, up around Yardley and perhaps Lahaska and New Hope. It's rough. And then across into Monmouth County, New Jersey, a report of a woman hit by lightning and injured. Our good prayers, hopefully prayers for a successful recovery, go out to you. In western North Carolina, a report of a woman also...
One place you don't want to be tonight, on the Delaware River, and that's where we find our weather watcher. She can't wait to take the Gazella to cooler climates in the beginning of next week.
It's hazy today, it's muggy, feels pretty humid down here. I hope that by Monday we'll be heading north up into New England for cooler weather.
Steve Keely is live at the Oxford Valley Mall, where a lot of folks are stuck and simply can't get out to go home. Steve, what's happening there?
Well, Jill, the rain has stopped down here, but of course the problems certainly have not. The mall's been closed for a few hours now. However, those who were shopping inside the mall all night have been told they're not allowed to leave the mall parking lots. And Scott Kaywood is one of those folks. He's here with his family. The kids way past their sleeping time, and he's been here since 5 o'clock. What have they told you?
Well, they've told us we can't go. The county's declared an emergency, and we can't go anywhere, so here we are.
And they came across with a couple of loudspeaker announcements?
2 announcements. First, Middletown Township saying that the roads were flooded and anybody who left was going to be fined if you were caught with a dead car. So we sat then, and then they said the county has now declared an emergency. So it's been since 6 o'clock we've been here.
The Kaywoods and several hundred other people have been here probably since 6 o'clock. Now let's talk power outages in this area. First of all, Bucks County, now 37,000 people still without power, and in neighboring Montgomery County, about 5,000 people without power. Power has been knocked out since about 5 o'clock in those areas, blamed mostly on both lightning strikes and high winds. Now, we are told by the energy company that the power will not be restored until probably 7 o'clock and as late as noon for a lot of those people. Now let's talk traffic. We just left I-95, and we had no trouble at all speaking to drivers on 95 who normally go 55 miles an hour, because tonight on 95, they were going nowhere.
Flooding down below like a flash flood. Some of the cars are trying to make it through, and they're getting stuck in the middle of the water.
And that's what happened to you?
Yes, yeah. I was lucky I got most of the way through, but the car in front of me stopped. And then I kind of stopped and then stalled out and just pushed it out of the water.
I'll tell you what, I've been all over the Bucks County area. I've gone up Route 1. I've been traveling through Oxford Valley. Oxford Valley Mall has been closed. Lights are out. I've seen houses that are practically flooded up, flooding in the garages. I was at a client's house this evening, and he actually had his fireplace was flooded. So it's really been a crazy night, that's for darn sure.
And how long have you been sitting in your car?
our traffic. I've been in traffic this evening for approximately now 3.5, 4 hours.
You are looking at tape shot just about 10 o'clock. That is the southbound lanes of 95, just about less than an hour ago right now. You can see just a trickle moving southbound, but look over in the northbound lanes and you won't see any cars because this is beyond the point where those flash floods occurred and no drivers were getting through that water. Back here now live at the Oxford Valley Mall. The power is back on at the mall. It was out for at least 2 hours tonight, and power is being slowly restored all through this area, and traffic is trying to get restored back to normal through this area, but it is still one big headache out here. Jill, Rich?
Okay, Stephen, thanks. I know it's been a very long day and night for you. Thanks for the report.
And Frank has been running around like crazy as well, and it looked like the lightning is over. We wouldn't have put the mast up for the live shot, so I gather it's moved a little bit to the east anyway.
It's moved out of Bucks County, but a lot of people don't realize that floods cause more injuries every year than any other natural disaster, so you really got to be careful out there. People say it's only raining, but it can get very dangerous. As a matter of fact, big temperatures out there cause the big rain. Look at this, 86 degrees. We're only 9 off the record high of 95. That was set back in 1947. So far, the low's been 68. Sun will rise tomorrow at 5:32 and set at 8:30 at the airport right now. A very muggy temperature, right around 70 degrees. High humidity, rising barometer, east winds at 8. And down here in Center City, we picked up 38/100ths of an inch of rain so far, but many places picked up well over 4 inches of rain. Very high temperatures reported by the School is Cool Fox Weather Network, 80s and 90s, and that did fuel those big thunderstorms today. We're still stuck in the soup now. 70 degrees with 90% humidity in Reading, Newark, 72 in Wilmington, 70 in Atlantic City, and in Dover it is now 68 degrees. And if we take a look what should happen tomorrow, as I mentioned at the top of this broadcast, strong storms and heavy rain again, a good likelihood for southeastern Pennsylvania, southwestern New Jersey, and most of Delaware. It looks like we will have a repeat performance. Now here's what's happening. We're going to use Storm Track. I'll show you what's going on. And as we take a look at the eastern portion of the United States, check out the clouds from South Carolina going all the way up into Philadelphia, then take it up into New England. This is the line of very intense thunderstorms that brought the heavy rain, the damaging winds, and golf ball size hail to New Hope this afternoon. It's going to continue off to the east. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at the 4D satellite imagery, look at the loop. Look at the circulation around the low in the eastern lakes. That's what's spawning all that heavy weather here in Philadelphia. The good news, the storms have finally started to die down in intensity. You can see from the central portion of New Jersey going all the way down into Kent County, Delaware. That's where the heaviest storms are now. We picked that up on Doppler radar out of Fort Dix, New Jersey. You do see some pretty big storms moving through Dover right now. Rain has moved out of Philadelphia for the most part, just a scattering or two of showers, but I think this is all going to fire up in Philadelphia once again tomorrow. Now, why is all this happening? Why are we having the heat and humidity? Why are we having the big storms? It's this low pressure center that just won't leave our area, sitting over western Pennsylvania. A little trough continues to trigger showers and thunderstorms in the city. Now, there is some good news. This cold front back behind it will finally kick it off to the northeast, but that means it's going to stick with us for one more day, trigger those showers and thunderstorms into Friday morning. Then the good news, high pressure builds in over the weekend. Not only do we get cooler, but our air dries out as well. And until that cold front moves into our area, unfortunately, it looks like our air quality is going to take a hit as well. We're going to be in the moderate zone for ozone tomorrow, and that means it could be irritating to some persons to be outside for long periods of time. Let's take a look at my forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy, still a few showers, heavier thunderstorms when you get into central and southern New Jersey. Low down to 65, west winds at 5 to 10. Tomorrow will probably be one of the most uncomfortable days we've had so far this year. High temperatures, high humidities, heavy thunderstorms. West winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, high getting up to 88. And tomorrow night, mostly cloudy skies, a low down to 67. Along the shoreline, look for a very pleasant high of 78. Poconos, high temperature of 84 tomorrow. Both places should have some morning fog. Let's check my 5-day weather picture. Actually, some good news there. Maybe a thunderstorm in here on Saturday once all the systems have cleared through. But look at Sunday, Father's Day. Less humid, very nice, 79 degrees. And Monday, partly sunny skies, 81, right where we should be for this time of year. People, please, Bucks County, Montgomery County, stay in tonight. The roadway is very dangerous.
Okay, Frank, thanks. Coming up, the old song said...
in a very short period of time, trapping many people in their tracks. Here's what we know so far. 51,000 residents in Bucks and Montgomery counties are without power after thunderstorms rolled through that area. 6,800 residents in Philadelphia are in the dark. No word right now on when power will be restored to those areas. One of the hardest hit areas is Langhorne in Bucks County. Creeks and streams are continuing to rise, and police say there is a possibility that some residents who live near Periwinkle and Bridle Lane may have to be evacuated. Also in Langhorne, shoppers at the Oxford Valley Mall are stranded there. Steve Keely is live at the mall with the latest.
Well, the latest here, Jill, is that people are not being allowed to get into their cars and not being allowed to go onto the roads around here. Those places that you mentioned earlier, they are still flooded. We watched people on I-95 sit in cars for hours, they told us. There are people who ran into flash floods along 95. A lot of cars are stalled, backing traffic up for miles. Of course, the power outages you mentioned, we have been told by public service officials that power may be restored as early as 7 a.m. for most of those 51,000 people, but as late as noon, we are told. Power was knocked out here at the mall for about 2.5 hours throughout the evening here because of high winds and lightning strikes. Now let's talk about some flooding not near the creeks that you mentioned. A deputy fire chief out here at the mall told me that folks in Pendle who live nowhere near water had to be rescued tonight because water was high as their rooftops tonight. So no matter if you were stranded in a mall, in a car, or in your own home, you had a long night. And Jill and Rich, a long night that will probably continue throughout the night.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Chester County authorities say they have a serial rapist under arrest.